Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that one of our admin received, and the message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I have come here because I wish to share with you my own confession about the things that I had to go through and the pain that I still have whenever I look at my granddaughter, because the man that I was staying with, whom I thought was God sent, a man that came into my life when I did not need love and when I thought that now I needed love, and then this guy came and I was dating him. He also ended up sleeping with my daughter and they had a child together. And with my daughter, we are still trying to reconnect, but there was a time when we were fighting quite a lot. My daughter saying that I was not a mother. And the funny thing was that they moved out, my daughter and my boyfriend. So this man, this is how I met this man. I am a woman who is aged 43 years old. I am a mother of two girls. I live here in Johannesburg, and I am someone who runs her business. My husband passed away, and then he left for me some businesses and investments that I had, and I have worked hard my whole life staying away from drama, even though I used to date, but I was just dating not because I needed a man, but just to keep me company. Most of the men that I dated before I met this ZCC prophet, they wanted to marry me, and I said no, I do not want to get married. I am okay like this. I was raising my girls alone after my husband passed away when my youngest was only 4, and I made the biggest mistake of my life when I fell in love with a prophet from the ZCC church. He was not just a prophet. This guy, he claimed that he had spiritual powers, and I think maybe he really has spiritual powers. Like I said, I met this guy when I was feeling lonely. We met, this was during lockdown. That was when we met. The guy then came and we started staying together, even though when I met him in real life, because we met on Facebook, and what I saw in real life was different from the pictures that I had seen, or at least we were communicating on social media. But I said, if this is the man that my heart has chosen, then let it be, even though he was not my type. He traveled from his province in Limpopo and he came to Joburg. This was like when COVID was really hard, and the way that he traveled, like he said that he just took chances, even though he knew that if he was going to get stopped, he would be in trouble because no one was allowed to move. It was like hard lockdown when I started staying with this guy. So like we were locked up together, me and this man, and I liked his confidence. I liked the way that he had made that risk just to be with me, and I wanted to be with a man in the house during lockdown. So I was staying with him, I'll just say that, at my property here in Midrand. That is where we were staying. And the very day that he traveled from Limpopo coming to Joburg, like I had a dream. Like in that dream, I saw him. He was at Maria and he was holding a snake that they used there. That was the weird dream that I had. I don't know how far true it is, but I saw this man that was going to come and stay with me. He was part of the prophets that were holding a snake that they use at their church. And when I woke up, like I was so terrified. I thought that there was someone with me in the room in which I was in, and this person wanted to do me harm. When I woke up, I felt a presence and I screamed such that even my daughters, they came running to my bedroom and they said, what's wrong? And I just told them that I had a terrible nightmare, but I did not want to scare them because this guy, he was on the way coming to stay with us. But I just had some negative spiritual vibes about it. the guy came, we started staying together, and that is what I chose. The guy then told me that he was a prophet, and he started to teach us about God and the way that they pray. He said that he expected me as his woman to follow each and everything that he would do, since he was someone that prayed. So I said that maybe it is for the best that my daughters, especially my eldest daughter, she was always giving me problems sleeping around. So I thought that maybe if we have a man in the house that prays, who is a prophet, maybe my daughter will be okay. So the very first day when he arrived, whilst we were eating supper at night, that was when he just said to my daughter, do you have dreams, sometimes dreams that you have that you do not understand? My daughter then said yes, and then the man told me to take some needles. He said, I want you to take 3 needles, and I gave him the needles, and we then went into my daughter's spare bedroom, and he then sticked those 3 needles into my daughter's pillow. And then he said, I do not want you to use this one. I just want you to put it by your side. This is going to protect you from the bad dreams that you have, and you have an ancestral calling. So we want this ancestral calling not to disturb you, for this is what has been bringing all of these men into your life. What I didn't know was that those were the prayers that were going to make my daughter last after my boyfriend. So the dreams that my daughter used to have, in which she never told me, will be like she will be at the river with some of the people that she said they were from my family, but they were relatives that passed away long before I was even born. So they would go with her to the river. In other dreams, she would be sleeping with a man. So these were the dreams that my boyfriend was talking about, but he did not want to be open with me. So as we were staying together like that, I did not know that in her dreams, my daughter, she was now starting to see herself getting married to my boyfriend, her mother's boyfriend, the man who was like a stepdad now. That is the man that she was having dreams about. And this was being caused by those needles that were stuck in that pillow. So he started praying for me. We would drink tea. He would tell me that he was supposed to have a spiritual bond with me, and I was so foolish. And my 19-year-old daughter, she was all madly in love with this man. So they started sleeping together. I did not even know that this was what was happening. So the day that I found out that this was what was happening, that was when I nearly collapsed. This man then ran away. At that time, I had already given him money. I gave him 35k. This guy, I gave him 35k. He said that he wanted to fix his house back in Limpopo. Like, this did not happen like in a couple of months. This happened throughout the lockdown that we were staying together. And then when the lockdown was over, that was when the guy told me that he wanted to go and fix his house there back in Limpopo. So as someone that had been good to me, who had been helping my daughter, and I saw that my daughter had stopped having a lot of boyfriends, and what used to give me a lot of heartbreak was when my daughter, I would see her with these Nigerian guys that would take her to different clubs. It used to break my heart, and she had stopped doing that. She even bought a Bible, and one day when she left her phone on the kitchen table, I saw that there was a Bible app there. So this made me to trust this prophet so much that I saw myself as being his wife. One day we were going to live a very beautiful life, but I did not know that he was already sleeping with my daughter. My daughter was being manipulated, even though my daughter was someone that was sleeping around. But one thing, she knew how to condomize and how not to fall pregnant for her many boyfriends. But she was manipulated by this guy. They would be drinking that ZCC tea almost each and every day, this guy was busy cleaning my daughter's womb, and she had already stopped her injections, the family planning to prevent pregnancies. And then she fell pregnant by that time when I had given this guy the 35K. So he went to his province, and when I called him, there was a woman who answered the call, his phone. Like, I was so heartbroken, Brother Nashi. And that was when I discovered that my daughter was pregnant. And I asked her, who are you pregnant for? And then she told me that she was pregnant for my boyfriend. I got so angry. Me and my daughter, we fought because I wanted her to have an abortion. She moved out and she started staying with one of her friends. And the most heartbreaking part about it was that my daughter, like, after my husband had passed away, I then said that one of my daughters, she's going to be running this company when she is all grown up. And now my daughter, after she was 18, I then said that now you're going to handle this type of businesses. This is yours. These investments, they are yours. You need to learn fast. She was someone that was very stingy with money, but she bought this guy a car. It was a second-hand car. She even went and started staying with this man in her village until she had a baby. That was when she started fighting, because this man started to bring women into his house and they started fighting, and this guy was just using the money that my daughter had, until one of my accountant came to me and told me that my daughter was withdrawing funds from the family trust. And that was when I spoke with my brothers, and then they sat with her down and they forced her not to continue taking money from the family trust, including the business. It was already going down. It only had proper management, but she was wasting a lot of money, taking money from the business. That was when she realized that she was being manipulated. There in Limpopo, where she was staying, like, she was just there because the man was just using her to sponsor himself with the money that she was having. And she used to go to that church. It was so heartbreaking knowing that my daughter was being manipulated. Her money was being used for other women. But that is what happened. By the time that she came back, she started staying with my brother. When I went to see my daughter, I cried so hard. I saw that my daughter, she was someone that was living in pain, and she now had a child. So that is the story that I have. My daughter had a child with my boyfriend, whom I met on Facebook, who came into my life. He was a prophet. He was trying to help my daughter, and then they had a baby together. I wasted money on him, 35K that I gave him, which he said that he wanted to use to renovate his house, and he did not come back to me. He was already speaking with my daughter, and he convinced my daughter to go and to stay with him in his province in Limpopo. My daughter refused to tell me how much she spent on that man, but from what I have heard from one of my daughter's friend who once visited her in Limpopo, she said that the guy built a tavern, and she thinks that the money that was used to build that tavern, it was money that was taken from my daughter. Even my daughter, when I asked her, she refused. But this guy, where he has a small restaurant and a tavern as well in town, which was sponsored by my daughter, but she has since refused that. No such thing ever happened. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.